Yo, what up? What up? What's poppin'? Realest one here, aka Mr. Slide Accordingly. Peace, blessings, all that good stuff like that. Yo, do me a favor, smack that like button, share, subscribe. Won't cost you nothing. I greatly would appreciate it. Genuinely would appreciate it. Support a real one, support the platform. Know what I mean?
And I want to ask you, from your perspective, exactly what happened. What we understand, based on the blog that happened recently, is that uh, he was in advance given a chance to list the people that he was attending with, and he listed them. Came to the event with those people, and then there was issues with him going on stage with those people, and he decided, because he moves off principle, and we respect and love that about Trez. He decided that he would. Not go on stage and stay with his people. What do you understand about that situation, and how can we get that rectified? Because we all love Chef Trez.
Yeah, nah. We got love for Chef Trez too, man. I mean, it's look, most of the time, man. Like, I don't even like addressing this stuff. Like, I don't like, cause it's like a never-ending cycle, right? And it's just like a lot of times where I take the high road is because, like, when I say things, even when I point out the evidence, people just don't want to accept the truth. And I understand that because I'm the league owner, and then you have the talent. I mean, for the most part, what Chef Trez said, I could see it from his vantage point. But where I do think that he fell short in explaining the story is he left out a big part of the story. And I think the difference is in the details. One, in terms of him putting his man on the list, we had like an open chat, and you can ask the other MCs. So he probably dumped his list in the chat. I'm not looking at his list to even know who he's sending. It was like an open chat with us and the organizers of the event. So the lady was like, "Yo, put your guests in here," and I was telling the guys, "Yo, dump your guest list in there." So I didn't look at his list like that. In terms of, like, I don't even know the guy. The guy that's his friend, I've met him before on the phone, but I've never met him in person. So I don't know what he looks like. I don't know him. I'm not even thinking about him. That shit was Ass Twerk and Capo. That shit was J2. That shit was like Summer Madness in there. That shit was packed out. That shit was like 1,500 people. It was crazy. So, there's a lot of moving parts. There's people in the building. There's industry folk. Like, I'm in there focused on trying to get the best outcome. Like, I'm not paying attention to details like that. So as far as like his man being around and us knowing or whatever the case may be, I didn't know. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't brought to my attention until later in the night when we were about to go on stage. The guys backstage.
Hold on, Bees, we can't hear you.
Just
Your
tired of
sig-
like I'm just tired of like people like coming around us when they feel like they have some type of grounding, flipping on us. You know what I'm saying? Or coming around for the opportunity and the visibility, and then going on the internet the next day or that night and saying like all this crazy shit about us. Like, that shit is ending. That shit is over with. Like, that shit is whack. So what I did was I saw Chef Trez. I pulled him. This is the part that he's leaving out. Like, I pulled him to the side privately. I have immaculate emotional control. I spoke to him calmly, and we weren't, as you said, we weren't screaming and yelling. I just said, "Yo, listen, is this your man?" You know what I'm saying? He's like, "Yeah, he is." I said, I'm just saying, it's kind of crazy that he's gonna, because we were backstage about to go on to the main stage for the performance. So it's kind of crazy that he says all these crazy things about us, and he wants to stand on stage around Smack. That shit is kind of wild. You know what I'm saying? He's like, "Oh, Beej, nah, he doesn't talk about you. He doesn't have an issue with you guys. He has an issue with certain people within the company." And I said, "Okay." I said, "But I don't like certain things that he said, because he had said something like a week prior that rubbed me the wrong way. But there's a million other tweets out there. I'm sure they'll resurface, after this interview, of him saying like crazy stuff about us and staff and the company." So I was like, so I'm talking to Chef. So before the one thing that he's not saying either is I never told him, I never put him against the wall like, "Yo, look, either your man can't, you don't rap, if your man goes on stage. I didn't even get to that point. As soon as I said, they said, you know what, Bees, I'm just not feeling this, man. I'm gonna leave. So I'm like, yo, chef, chill. You know what I'm saying? It's not that serious because it was like 5 minutes. They was literally mic'd up, like ready to walk out on stage. So I'm like, yo, just chill. It's not that serious. But I had to ask you. Nah, Bees, I'm good, man. I'm not doing it. This and that. So I'm like, yo, chef, chill. It's me talking to you. Like we had a good relationship. And we showed Chef love. You know what I'm saying? Like he had Av this year. He had Tay Rock a week before that. He's probably one of the most booked artists on URL. So I was like, just chill out, Chef. Like, you know what I'm saying? So like he starts to walk away from me. So I put my hands up like just to stop him, like where like the like like in the bends of your elbow. But it was nothing, it wasn't aggressive. It wasn't an aggressive conversation. It was like a brother conversation, like, yo, Chef, chill.
Okay.
Like I'm trying to keep it low. His body language, nah, I'm good. So what he does is he starts talking over me to ease because they asked that we have another person there just in case anybody for any reason got sick or didn't make it. So he's like, yo, Ease, you got your rhymes? And then Ease is like, yeah. He's like, yo, you up? And I'm like, yo, Chef, chill. It's not that. As your man can. So I said, your man can go on stage. It's cool. Like I told him that. So then Smack saw what was going on. So he came over. He's like, yo, Chef, what's up? Talk to me, man. He's like, yo, Chef, that shit ain't about nothing. Your man is good. He can go on stage. Now, mind you, his man wasn't even around. He was aloof to what was happening. He was all the way down the hallway. So it was only me, Chef, and Smack standing in that section of the area having a conversation. The only way that other people knew is when he raised his voice to tell Ease that he wasn't doing it and started to remove the microphone and take off his credentials. So Smack was like, yo, Chef, let me talk to you. And then Chef just turned around and Smack said, yo, you going to walk off on me in mid-sentence? You're not going to talk to me? And Chef walked out the door and let the door slam. He didn't even wait for his man. He walked out by himself. His man stayed in the building. He didn't even know what happened and said, yo, fellas, do you want me to run outside and get him and bring him back in? And I said, nah, it's cool. Because Ease was already there and we had to go on stage. It's like we don't have time for him to go out, have a conversation, to talk to him, to try to convince him to go back. So we just went on stage and did the show. And then that night, he goes on the internet and goes out. I'm not going to say verbatim because I don't remember. I don't know exactly what the tweet said, but it was something to like, I would never betray a friend for opportunity. But what he's not saying is I never even got the words out to say either your friend goes or you don't rap, right? And I don't know if it's his manager or his friend. I didn't even know that managers are mandatory to be on stage when someone's rapping. You know what I'm saying? I come from the music business. The manager stands on the side and watches the artist perform and handles the business. So I didn't even know that had to be a thing. You know what I'm saying? But he was never put in a position where he said, yo, you can't rap if your man goes on stage. We didn't even get that far. And we told him numerous times, bro, it's cool. It's not that serious. Your man can go on stage. He opted to leave. That's what he's not saying.
I understand that, and I appreciate your perspective. And everybody, it's a crazy time. We're not gonna act like we're not in a crazy place in life, and there's a lot going on, and stress, and a lot of things going on right now. And these are real times. And there's different ways to handle situations. But I think that as fans, we would love to see that reconciled, and communication really solves a lot. So we do hope.
It's not right. So like, I just my thing is like I hate like internet talk. Like I hate that shit, man. Like that shit is disgusting to me. Like we all men, right? And we know each other. We're cool with each other. URL never spoke on the incident. After it happened, we didn't say a word about it. We acted like it never happened. He put it in the public with the tweet. Oh, betray a friend. So we still didn't say anything about it, right? He hit me up a couple of days later on text, right? Because if we're telling a story, nobody got a deposit because it's not how this works. This is an industry event. So, I know a lot of guys, their first interactions in dealing with business and being paid for their talent is through URL or battle rap, where it's you get your money as soon as you get off stage type of thing, right? And I was explaining to him like, yo, bro, like this is different. It's going to be a certain amount of business days after, there's paperwork and things you have to sign. before you get paid. So he asked for an advance. There was no advance. So I personally gave him an advance because he asked me for it. You know what I'm saying? So, in all due respect, he hit me and acknowledged that. You know what I'm saying? He said, "Yo, I know you gave me an advance. Whatever we have to do to work it out." You know what I'm saying? So I ended up seeing him at Tay Rock's event, and I spoke to him, and I said, "Yo, we'll speak." You know what I'm saying? We'll figure it out. But at then, it was still like a week removed, so I didn't know what was going to happen. And the reason why I didn't speak to him that day is because he battled that day, and it was a battle rap event. So like, I'm not gonna bring this whole energy before this man is about to rap on stage, for one, and two, it just wasn't the place to have that type of conversation with people around. So that's why we didn't speak. Could I have called him a couple of days later? Yeah, I could have, and he could have called me. You know what I'm saying? I mean, being that he had a deposit and all, but he didn't call me and I didn't call him. So it's not like he was texting me or hitting me and I'm dubbing him and we didn't have a chance. We just didn't have a chance to talk. It was on new, and there was no card playing that he was going to be on. So it just wasn't the time for us to talk. So I'll take accountability and say, yeah, I could have called him, that Monday after Rock's event. But he didn't call me. I didn't call him. I'm busy working. I'm sure he has things going on that he's working, and he battles a lot. He battles pretty frequently. So he wasn't calling me, and I wasn't calling him.
But hopefully in the
And I didn't
future
call.
we can make that call happen. You guys can. Communication is everything in terms of rectifying relationships. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, yo, listen, nobody got threatened, nobody got touched. It was, you know what I mean? It was just, I just felt like those were certain details that people needed to understand, because I saw online people like, damn, man, they could have told him that wasn't the way to do it. But like, you could tell your story, but you got to tell every part of the story, bro. You can't just tell that and leave out those big gaps in the story, because that makes all the difference on how somebody will perceive something. You know.
I understand completely, and I
You know
appreciate
what I'm
you.
saying? In terms of, and one other thing I want to clear up too, like he said, Smack didn't speak to him. Of course, Smack is not going to speak to him, because the last time Smack tried to speak to him, he turned his back and walked out the door with damn near a microphone on his chest before he was about to rap at a big event where we're connecting with bigger platforms. So of course Smack is gonna feel away. So they saw each other. He didn't walk up to Smack and say, "Yo, Smack, what's up?" And Smack didn't walk up to him and say, "What's up?" So they just kind of saw each other and avoided each other. So it's not like Smack played him, like he tried to speak to Smack and Smack dissed him. And it's not like Smack spoke to him and he dissed Smack. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to clarify that as well. You know what I'm saying? Because it's people have this whole thing in their mind of how things were, and that's just not what it was. You know what I'm saying?
I
So it's just
understand.
like, yo, we never spoke about it. And then the whole shit with the battle, you know what I'm saying? Like, I sent him the promo material because I was gonna put out Chef Trez and Swamp, which again shows like we're not harboring any feelings, right? We're putting it on YouTube. So I sent him the promo material, not even thinking that there was like some big issue. Like I said, we were gonna talk. So I just sent him the promo material, which was like a flyer and a trailer. And I sent the same thing to Swamp. I look up on Twitter, it's like I don't care about a drop with a middle finger to us. So it's like, yo, bro. Again, Smack sees it. I said, yo, listen, we're not even gonna engage in disrespect. All Smack said was, yo, I was about to put this battle out. I saw something disrespectful on Twitter that I didn't like, so I'm switching to a different battle. That's all he said. He didn't disrespect Trez, and that's all that happened. So I mean, it's not even a big issue. I don't even know why we're here. Why this shit is even being discussed. Nobody was touched. There was nobody cursed at anybody. Nobody ran. You know what I'm saying? It is like, what is the purpose in even telling that story?
I do understand what you're saying, and I understand your perspective, his perspective. I just want you to understand that as fans, we hope that there can be communication and resolution. You feel what I'm saying? Life is short.
Yeah, of course, it's It can be communication. I'm telling you this because you asked me about it, and it's just a time where like we live in an information age, and it's like when people say something and you don't respond, you're automatically guilty. And we took the high road for so long, not righting the wrongs or telling the entire story from our perspective, so that there's like a way for people to actually evaluate something and make a decision on who they felt was wrong or right. So then it's just always URL is the bad guy.
You do take the high road in a lot of situations. Why is that?
I just feel like oftentimes, like people have made up their mind in their decision, so you're not gonna change it. So it's like, what is the purpose in even engaging with people? Because then it's like it doesn't stop. Because then I say something, then the guy turns around, then he has to tell part two and part three and all these other different things, and then now you're going back and forth with somebody over something that's minuscule. This is a light story. Nothing happened. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just
Yeah.
telling the parts that were left out of the story since we're here. I never spoke about it. We never put it out on the internet. You know what I'm saying? He did.
Yeah. Yeah. And y'all responded. Speaking of the event, y'all had.
Hey, yo, do me a favor, smack that like button, share, subscribe. Won't cost you nothing. I greatly would appreciate it. Genuinely would appreciate it. Support a real one, support the platform. Know what I mean?